Ladies and gentlemen, we are at that point of the season where all of the nerds, all of the fans of other teams, all of the national media come together and they talk about the Saints cap situation. It is a yearly thing. It's like they all decide to do it on the same day and they don't stop until the season starts again. But the problem with this is, like I said, these are fans of other teams and they are national media personalities or people who don't understand how the Saints operate, and these people have no interest in understanding how the Saints operate their cap situation. And I think it's important to note here just because the Saints choose to do things differently does not make it the wrong way to do things. Now, I will say, with the way the Saints choose to do things, it puts a bigger emphasis on getting other things right, such as the draft, the coaches, and the people or the players that you choose to pay the big contracts to. But just for an example, if you don't really quite understand how the Saints cap situation works, let me try to explain it as best I can. And let me tell you, I'm not a cap guy. Just a football guy. But say you have a guy with a contract, a big contract. They are going to restructure somebody's deal basically over 5 years. And that's where these void years come from. If a guy doesn't have 5 years left on his contract or his contract is at 5 years, they will add these void years that are allowed as of now. And basically, they divide it over 5 years. And at the end of those 5 years, if they decide to move on or the player, retire, whatever, if the player isn't on the team anymore, it creates dead money. What is dead money? It's money that you're paying to somebody that is no longer on the team. So the Saints will end up with dead money at the end of one of these, restructures. How do they fix that? They just take another player contract who is currently on the team and do the same exact thing, and they keep pushing it just to the next side. It's like a cycle. You restructure one guy, dead money at the end. Okay, well let's take another big contract we got and do the same exact thing, and they just do it over and over again. Now, again, there are three things that have to go right for this to work. Number one, the salary cap has to go up every single year, as it has other than the pandemic year. Now, where the Saints messed up most recently, and it's not really them messing up, it's the COVID year, the pandemic happened, and literally nobody could have predicted it happening and the salary cap going down because of it. The salary cap literally improves or increases every single year other than that COVID year. And like I said, nobody could have predicted that happen. So that's why you've seen during that time the Saints have to make some big decisions and let some big names go that they might not have wanted to. So that is the first thing that has to go right in order to operate the salary cap like the Saints do. You have to depend on the salary cap going up every year, and that is a pretty good bet. The second thing is you have to draft really well. Period. You have to draft really well. You have to rely on the players that you draft to come in and contribute on some cheaper deals because of, the workings that you have with the restructures and all that. Because if you can, get these guys on cheaper deals, then you can afford to go out and get free agents, such and such. So number two, you have to draft well, which really applies to every NFL team. But again, if you're doing the salary cap the way the Saints do, there's an even bigger emphasis on it. Number three, coaches and players, you have to have the right people in the building. Obviously, you have to have the right leaders. The Saints don't have that right now. Okay. And when you are going to give out big contracts, when you work in the manner the Saints do, you have to make sure you're giving them to the right people. So, with all that being said, the Saints' main problem is not their salary cap. The salary cap is not the reason the Saints are a mid team. The Saints are a mid team because they have drafted pretty poorly since the 2017 season. Obviously, 2017 draft class, one of the best of all time. But after that, not been that great. Again, they decided to hire Dennis Allen as a head coach, career loser, not a great decision, and they decided to pay Derek Carr a pretty hefty contract to be their quarterback for the foreseeable future. Now, that's Mickey Loomis's guy. That's Dennis Allen's guy. Fine, whatever, reap what you sow. But the truth is, you handed out a pretty big contract to a career loser and a guy who played pretty poorly the majority of his first season with the Saints. Now, we'll see if he can pick it up under Clint Kubiak next year under a new OC. We'll see. I don't know. But the way people talk about the Saints cap situation is so uninformed and annoying. And I really choose not to even engage it anymore online because, again, there are people who just choose that they don't understand and they choose to not learn to understand. But it is what it is. Appreciate you guys watching.